My name is Layton Warn. I heard the first bomb dropped on December 7th, 1941, when I was a medic at Wheeler Field, Territory of Hawaii. By the magic of television, I, along with the rest of the world, was present at the recent attack on September 11th. I was surprised as anyone at the sneak attack on December 7th, even though we knew that war could happen at any time. For a 20-year-old Kansas boy, it was a traumatic experience. I'd never seen such devastation and loss of life. During the first raid, I was sure that I wasn't going to live to be 21. But when the raid was over, why, I was so busy I didn't have time to be scared anymore. I was busy doing such things as helping sort out the wounded. We went down and searched through tent cities to find bodies and try to identify them. Later on in the afternoon, I helped set up an emergency ward over at the Non-Commissioned Officers Club. In this task, we had no end of offers of help from civilian dependents. There were even 2 or 3 registered nurses. I remember one major's wife who spent the day getting addresses, home addresses, of soldiers so that she could send back one-word radiograms to the families to let them know we were all right. At the end of the day, we didn't know whether there would be any more attacks or not, but we knew we were at war and we knew who the enemy was. Even though most people did not know where Pearl Harbor was and only saw delayed pictures of the event, we soon learned that the whole nation's reaction was shock and outrage. It was a wake-up call that caused everyone to come together, determined to win the war. And that determination did not flag in 4 years' time. The whole world watched the September 11th catastrophe almost as it happened. I suppose my reactions were the same as those of most people. Unbelieving shock and horror at seeing people jumping out of burning buildings, and then seeing those seemingly indestructible buildings fall in a pile of rubble, and the smoke and the dust rise and envelop all of lower Manhattan. I thought of families that would never see their loved ones again. This time I watched people laboring to control the damage and risking their lives to help others. Times like this bring out a selflessness in people that helps counteract the sorrow. Thoughts and questions that I had must also have occurred to all people watching. There had been a number of terrorist attacks before, but who could believe that anyone would do something of this magnitude? I was instantly reminded of December 7th, of course. That attack was a sneak attack, but it was something we knew could happen, even though we thought it highly improbable that it would. And that attack was directed at military installations, and its only purpose was to weaken our military capability. This one did only slight military damage. It was directed to civilians, and its sole purpose seemed to be to kill as many people as possible and to create fear and chaos. If that was their purpose, they succeeded, but they also created something else they did not intend. They created an outrage and the determination in most of the nation to prevent that sort of thing from ever happening again. At the end of the day, there was no doubt that we were at war again, but this time, with whom and where? The scope of the attack indicated that nations must be involved. But who? The course of action this time was not clear. And can the strong determination be maintained until the task is done, and we disable the terrorists without causing a wider war. Then there is a question of how we determine when the task is finished. Will we ever be safe again? These are questions yet to be answered. After the attacks, I wondered if the attackers realized they had almost zero chance of defeating a nation like ours, and the attacks would prove to be stupid things to have done.